What if the very plant sitting in your garden right now could fight off pests better than any chemical spray you've ever bought? No gloves, no mixing, no spending. Just nature doing what it was always designed to do. And here's the part that will really get you thinking. Most of these plants are so common that people walk past them every single day without realizing what they're actually capable of. Stick around, because by the end of this video, your garden will never look the same again. Hey, welcome back to Earthly Gardening. If you're new here, so glad you found us. This channel is your go-to space for real, practical garden tips that won't drain your wallet. We don't believe in overcomplicating things around here. Gardening should feel good, not stressful, and definitely not expensive. And for those of you who've been here a while, you already know we don't do fluff. We get straight to what works, and today is no different. Before we get into it, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button right now and turn on the bell so you never miss a thing. And if you've been watching for a while and haven't liked a single video yet, today is the day to change that. Alright, let's get into it. Plant 1, Basil. Starting with something you probably already have in your kitchen. Basil. Now most people grow basil purely because it tastes amazing in food, and that's fair enough. But here's what's happening in the air around that plant that nobody really talks about. Basil releases a sharp, almost invisible scent that flies, aphids, and whiteflies absolutely cannot stand. It doesn't just smell nice to us, it actively messes with the ability of pests to locate the plants they want to destroy. They fly in, get hit by that basil scent, get confused, and move on entirely. Plant basil right next to your tomatoes and watch what changes. Those two plants have had a relationship that goes back centuries. Farmers in old Mediterranean communities figured this out long before anyone was writing gardening books. The basil creates a scent shield, and your tomatoes grow stronger and more productive because of it. Some gardeners also report that basil improves the flavor of tomatoes grown right beside it. Whether that's fully proven or not, the pest protection alone makes it worth every inch of soil you give it. One more thing about basil. It works fast. You don't have to wait months to see results. Within weeks of planting it near vulnerable crops, you'll notice fewer insects hovering around. That kind of quick feedback is what makes it such a satisfying companion plant to start with, especially if you're new to this approach. Plant 2, Marigold. This one is the garden world's most underrated bodyguard. Marigolds. You've probably seen them around. Bright orange, bright yellow, they look almost too cheerful to be doing serious work. But don't let the cheerful appearance fool you for even 1 second. Marigolds release a chemical from their roots called alpha-terthional. That's a scientific name for something that basically sends a very clear message to nematodes, which are tiny soil worms that quietly destroy plant roots from underground, telling them this soil is not safe for you. Above the ground, the smell that marigolds give off keeps beetles, whiteflies, and even rabbits at a distance. What makes marigolds especially smart to use is how flexible they are. You can plant them around the edges of your entire garden like a natural fence. You can tuck them between rows of vegetables. You can put them in pots and move them around. They adapt to wherever you need protection most. They bloom for months, they're extremely low maintenance, they grow in almost any soil condition, and they cost very little to get started. If you're only going to add one companion plant to your garden after watching this video, marigolds would be a very strong choice. They've earned their reputation as the garden's first line of defense. Plant 3, Lavender. Lavender smells like calm and relaxation to us. To moths, fleas, and mosquitoes it smells like a warning sign posted at the entrance of your garden saying "Turn back now." That's the fascinating thing about this plant. What we find beautiful and soothing, pests find completely unbearable. The same compounds that give lavender that soft, almost dreamy scent are the exact compounds that disrupt the senses of common garden pests and keep them from settling in. Place lavender near your vegetable beds or at the entry points of your garden. Along pathways, near gates, beside your most vulnerable plants. But here's what makes lavender even more valuable. It doesn't just push bad insects away. It actively pulls in bees and butterflies, the ones you absolutely want around because they're responsible for pollinating your plants and helping them produce fruit and vegetables in the first place. So lavender is giving you two things at the same time. It's running off the insects causing damage while inviting in the ones causing growth. That kind of balance is exactly what a healthy garden needs, and lavender does it without any effort on your part once it's established in the ground. We're halfway through the list, and I really hope this is already changing the way you think about your garden layout. If it is, go ahead and like this video right now. It takes 1 second and it genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this information. And if you know someone who's been losing their plants to pests season after season, share this video with them today. It might completely turn things around for their garden. Now back to the list. Plant 4, Nasturtium. Here's where it gets really interesting and a little bit clever. Nasturtium is what gardeners call a trap crop. The concept is simple, but the strategy behind it is actually brilliant. Instead of protecting itself from aphids, Nasturtium does the opposite. It attracts them on purpose. It puts out a signal that says, "Come here, this is where you want to be," completely pulling attention away from your tomatoes, cucumbers, beans, and other vegetables. The aphids follow that signal, pile onto the nasturtium, and leave everything else alone. Once they're all concentrated on one plant, you can deal with them easily and quickly without disturbing the rest of your garden. It's the gardening version of a decoy, and it works remarkably well. But nasturtium doesn't stop there. It's also completely edible. The flowers are used in salads, and they have a surprising peppery bite that a lot of people love. The leaves are edible too. So this plant is simultaneously protecting your vegetables, feeding the aphids so they leave everything else alone, and then offering you its own leaves and flowers as food. That level of contribution from one plant is genuinely hard to match. Plant 5, Rosemary. Rosemary carries itself with a kind of quiet authority in the garden. The scent is bold, the texture of the leaves is almost sharp, and the oils inside it are strong enough that cabbage moths, carrot flies, and bean beetles want absolutely nothing to do with it. If you're growing brassicas, things like cabbage, broccoli, kale, or cauliflower, then rosemary planted nearby creates a scent barrier that flying pests struggle to cross. They approach, pick up that rosemary scent, get disoriented, and move away. It's not harming them. It's simply redirecting them somewhere else, and that somewhere else is not your garden. What also makes rosemary a genuinely excellent companion plant is its resilience. It's drought-resistant, meaning it survives dry spells and periods when you forget to water it. It grows well in poor soil. It doesn't need a lot of fertilizer. It's essentially asking you for very little while giving your garden consistent protection season after season. Plant it along the borders of your brassica beds or use it as a low natural hedge. Once it's established, it becomes a permanent part of your garden's defense system without requiring you to do anything extra to maintain it. Plant 6, Dill. Dill operates on 2 levels at the same time, and that's what makes it stand out on this list. On the first level, it attracts predatory insects. Specifically lacewings, hoverflies, and parasitic wasps. Now those might sound like things you don't want in your garden, but these are actually the insects that feed on aphids, caterpillars, and other soft-bodied pests. Dill essentially recruits a small army of pest hunters and brings them directly into your garden, where they do their work quietly and efficiently. On the second level, Dill repels spider mites and aphids from plants like squash and cucumbers when placed nearby. So it's pushing certain pests away while at the same time calling in predators to deal with the ones that get through. The one thing to keep in mind with dill is timing and placement. Young dill gets along well with tomatoes. Mature dill does not. As dill matures and goes to seed, it starts competing with tomatoes in ways that slow their growth. So keep mature dill on the other side of the garden from your tomatoes and you'll be completely fine. A little bit of attention to placement with dill goes a very long way. Plant 7, Petunias. People plant petunias for the color. The deep purples, the soft pinks, the bright whites, the vivid reds. They make any garden look alive and well cared for. But petunias are also doing something much more useful than looking good. They produce a sticky substance on their stems that physically traps aphids, tomato hornworms, and leafhoppers before those pests even get a chance to move further into your garden. Think of it as a living sticky trap, except it blooms, it's beautiful, and it requires almost zero maintenance. Plant petunias alongside your beans, squash, and potatoes. They act as a barrier that catches pests early before they reach the plants you're most trying to protect. And because they're so visually appealing, you can place them in a way that looks completely intentional from a design standpoint. Nobody walking past your garden will know they're looking at a pest management strategy. It will just look like a really well put together outdoor space. Plant 8, Chives. Chives belong to the same plant family as onions and garlic, and they carry that same sharp, almost confrontational scent that so many pests want nothing to do with. Aphids, Japanese beetles, and carrot flies are the main ones that avoid chives entirely and will go out of their way to stay away from any garden bed where chives are growing. Here's a placement tip that works really well. Put chives at the base of your rose bushes. Roses are constantly under attack from aphids, and they're one of the most common targets in any garden. Chives sitting at the base completely disrupts the aphids' ability to locate the roses and they move on. You can also plant chives around your carrot rows to keep carrot flies from laying their eggs near the roots. The chive scent masks the smell of the carrots underground, which is what attracts those flies in the first place. Chives also come back every single year on their own. You plant them once and they return season after season, slowly spreading and covering more ground. Low effort, long-lasting, and quietly doing important work the entire time. Plant 9, Fennel. Fennel comes with a small but important warning. It's powerful. Possibly too powerful for some plants. It releases compounds that can slow the growth of tomatoes, peppers, and beans if planted too closely to them. So fennel is not something you tuck between your vegetable rows. It needs its own dedicated space, preferably at the edges or corners of your garden away from most of your crops. But here's exactly why it still made this list and why it deserves a spot in your garden. When placed at the borders, fennel becomes an incredibly effective pest control station. It attracts hoverflies and parasitic wasps that hunt caterpillars, aphids, and other soft-bodied pests. It becomes a checkpoint at the edge of your garden where predator insects gather and patrol. Used with intention and placed correctly, fennel becomes one of the most powerful tools in your companion planting strategy. It's not for beginners who want to plant casually, but if you're willing to be a little deliberate about where it goes, the results are worth it. Plant 10, Catnip. Last on the list and genuinely the most surprising one. Catnip. Yes, the exact same plant that sends cats into a complete frenzy. Turns out mosquitoes, ants, aphids, and flea beetles share absolutely none of that enthusiasm. They cannot stand it. Research has shown that catnip contains a compound called nepentolactone which repels mosquitoes with an effectiveness that rivals some commercially sold chemical repellents. That is a significant finding, and it says a lot about how underestimated this plant really is. Plant catnip around your garden seating areas, near entry paths, or beside the beds you want most protected. It spreads quite easily, so giving it a container or a clearly defined space is a smart move if you don't want it taking over other areas. And yes, if you have cats, they will find it. They will roll in it and they will look very happy doing so. But the trade-off of a garden with dramatically fewer mosquitoes, ants, and aphids is an easy one to make. So there you have it. 10 plants that protect, trap, confuse, attract predators, and build a natural defense system around your garden without a single chemical involved. The beauty of companion planting is that it works with nature instead of against it. You're not forcing anything unnatural. You're simply arranging the right plants beside each other and allowing them to do what they were always going to do anyway. Start with 1 or 2 from this list. You don't need to overhaul your entire garden overnight. Pick the companions that match what you're already growing and add them in gradually. Notice what changes. Pay attention to which pests start disappearing. And then slowly build from there. Small, intentional steps lead to a garden that runs more smoothly, more naturally, and more affordably with every single season. That's the earthly gardening way, and it always works. If this video helped you in any way, drop a comment below right now and tell me which companion plant from this list you're going to try first. I read every single comment and I genuinely want to hear from you. Like the video if you haven't already, subscribe if you're new here, and share this with someone whose garden needs a little natural protection this season. See you in the next one.